today I thought we might chat about something that's rather commonplace, and that will be the complexities of friendships. My personal definition of a friend is a person that chooses you. They don't have to. You will meet in a certain setting, but of all the people in that place, they will choose you and continue to choose you. So my personal definition of friendship is family that has chosen to be your family. Friendship is one of the most valuable support systems, and yet I might think a little bit underrated. You know, when people talk about how blood is thicker than water, is it though? Is it? You know what I mean? Friends are the family that chooses. Choice is a very powerful thing. I understand that blood is very powerful spiritually, but physically, choice is very powerful, and friendship is built on choices. 1 Samuel verse 18. David and Jonathan's friendship. As soon as he had finished speaking to Saul, the Saul, S-O-U-L, of Jonathan was knit to the Saul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. Tell me how you can trivialize friendship. Because after you have chosen someone and they have chosen you, literally we see souls getting knit, yeah? And we see how in the future, David is looking for someone from the house of Saul for the sake of their friendship with Jonathan, yeah? You cannot underrate the value of a relationship based on knitting of souls. You have one chance in this life to choose family, and that chance lies in choosing the right friends. And so with how important friendships are, I'm sure you can just imagine the level of complexity that comes with a relationship that neat, that close. So over the years, I have made observations in friendships. I mean, I've met many friends, I've lost many friends. I'm sure you have too. But along the way, I have learned a few things on friendships. Number one, friendship is transactional. Guys, believe it or not, people are going to come at me with pitchforks that friendship is not transactional. Let me ask you this one question. Think about your oldest and longest friendships. Think about the friendships you value the most. And when you're being very honest with yourself, tell me if there is nothing you get out of that friendship, or if there is nothing that other person gets out of that friendship. In my opinion, it is the transactional element of friendship that actually feeds the day-to-day of the friendship. So you've chosen each other, so you'll care for each other and all of these cool things. But how then do you stay relevant to each other for the friendship to last long? Transaction. And don't get me wrong, there is a difference between transaction and conditional. Conditionality is a different thing entirely, because if you are only friends with someone because of that which they do for you, that is a conditional relationship. However, if what you do for someone or what they do for you sort of feeds the friendship, then that is the transactional friendship I'm talking about. And by the way, it doesn't have to be big stuff. It doesn't have to even be finances or anything. There is that friend you go to when you need a listening ear. That's their currency. That ear is their currency in your friendship. There is that friend that comes to you when they need a good laugh. That's your currency in that friendship. You get what I mean? There is always tiny little things that have to feed the friendship, I've come to realize. Otherwise, you find that you'll meet this person and you get along famously, and say for the duration, let's say you're on holiday and you've made a new friend, right? Maybe you met by the pool and you're by yourself, they're by themselves, and you have a good time and enjoy the rest of the holiday and go your separate ways. The only way a friendship will last beyond that holiday is if along the way, as you were interacting, you found an area in which you can transact. That may be in what they do for a living or in what you do for a living, yeah? But there has to be an element of transaction for a friendship to go on. Even the friends that we made in high school, you realize that in high school we were always making new friends, dropping friends, making new friends, dropping friends, but the friendships that transcended the boundaries of high school and we carried on up to today, those are friendships in which we continually were transacting with each other. So the second point, the best friendships are low maintenance. My strongest friendships are those friendships wherein you will go years, even months, without talking to each other. But when you touch base, it will be like no time was lost. I remember recently running into, yes, you can't believe it, my primary school best friend. We were best friends in like primary 3. That's grade what? Grade 3? Yeah. We were really little. And we ran into each other at an event as adults. And it's like no time was lost. We were in such a hurry to catch each other up on everything we've missed out. Never mind, by the way, we have been friends on Facebook this entire time, but life is so busy and we live in different towns. This is what I mean by the best friendships are low maintenance. They will not sulk because you are not calling them every day. So I have a dear friend with whom we went to university, and we built a really, I'd like to think, a pretty solid seemed friendship. And so as life went along, life happens, and then you're not in each other's lives as before, and then she goes to a different country, and then eventually I also go to another country, and then I come back and all of that. But in all of that time, every time we are in the same country together, we would reach out to each other. And it was so sad that the last time, and occasionally once in a while we would reach out to each other, because like I said, friendships have to be transactional. And when you do reach out to each other, sometimes that's all the support somebody needs, just to know that somebody out there cares for them, and that is your currency in that moment, And so this one time she tried to reach out to me, and every time she would try to reach me, I'm either in the middle of something urgent or I'm in a noisy place and I can't really speak, and yeah, it was hectic. And then maybe I'd return the call, and because of her work schedule, she is unable to pick, right? These things are normal in adulting. So what happens then? I realized that we were struggling to get to speak with each other. In that moment, my life was so crazy busy. I was working on my 3 startups concurrently, and at the same time trying to complete my thesis for my master's. So it just got so crazy that if I squeeze a window and I am unable to reach you, then the next best thing is to schedule, right? And before, because her schedule was busy but mine was more flexible, it was easy. We would depend on her schedule to be able to interact. And now both of us, really, it's a bit crazy. And I suggest booking an appointment. I suggested for her, and I suggested some dates and times, and I asked her to then cross out what doesn't work for her and let me know like 2 options, yeah, that work for her there, and then we can go from there. I got no response. I didn't think much of it because I know people are busy. Guess what happens next? After a while, maybe a month, I reach out to her. I think of her and I reach out as usual. And she doesn't pick, and then she texts me. She's like, "Hi, sorry I missed your call. I don't know, well, it's been a while. I was just checking in, especially since we didn't get a chance to, properly catch up the last time like we usually do? And her response was, well, the moment you started saying, let's make an appointment, and I say it with that attitude because that is what I was reading. Like, but this is life. Life gets busy. If you're able to see each other, that's okay. If you're not able to see each other, make a way. An appointment is a way for us to have that video call. But you know what? I just smiled and I said, you know what? Until such a time as she comes to realize that as life gets busier, the things we're going to have to do to be able to maintain our friendships, there's really not much I can do. Now, this is a big one. Number 3, I realized that for a friendship to work, you don't even need to like the same things. My best friend and I, for the longest time, just continually wondered how it is that we have been friends for the better part of 15 years. Like, we've been friends since we were 12. And when it really comes down to it, we don't even have the same interests. Like, I think we just continually choose each other. If something makes me happy, she'll tolerate it for me. Or if something makes her happy, then I will tolerate it for her. But bottom line, while you don't have to have the same interests, one very key thing that I realized is the glue that keeps such a friendship together is having common values. Because as we get older, more and more I realize that there's people we considered our friends before and they just go dropping off. Why? Because in our day-to-day, our values become more apparent, and then you'll find that that's no longer aligned with certain people, and either they'll drop off or you will drop off and things like that. So the very fundamental thing in friendship is having common values. You both believe in fairness, good for you. You both believe in greater good for you. I mean, we've seen friendships that have been founded on negative values, but the fact that they have same values keeps those friendships going. Except the challenge with that one is there comes a point when either it burns you, it burns itself out, it implodes actually. Friendships born of negative values actually tend to implode. Number 4, friendship is a sum of choices. Remember how I started with defining friendship as family that chooses you? You guys, we can be difficult humans. I can be a difficult human. Even I can't put up with myself sometimes. And you and everybody else can be really difficult. But the fact that someone continues to choose you, now that is what I call friendship. They're going to choose you at your worst. And when they have an opportunity, they're going to tell you, that one was not right. That is not how, But at the end of the day, friendship is a sum of choices. For a friendship to continue, you will continually choose each other. You will piss each other off royally, but you will still continue to choose each other or to choose peace. Sometimes you will want so much to get your way, and you might even be very right, but for the sake of the friendship, you will choose the friendship over being right. You will choose the friendship over your preference, because guess what? There have been times even the other friend has done that for you or will continue to do that for you. Like, it's just an ongoing, endless sum of choices. Number 5. You know how they say life is not a level playing field? Well, friendship actually is. It's the most level playing field you will ever have the opportunity to play on. How do I mean? Look around you. Look at the people that you call your friends. Look how different you are, how different your opportunities are. Sometimes even when you come from the exact same, you will find that you may have started out on the exact same level playing field. By the way, that happens too. Because let's face it, most friendships tend to start in school, right? And usually, people that take their children to certain kinds of schools are people of a certain kind of income bracket. So you find that most of the children in these schools have more or less the same advantages in life, right? Sort of level. Guess what? As you grow, as life happens, oh my goodness, that field will go this way and that way and everywhere else in between. But let me tell you, in the space of friendship, you will never feel less than anyone in that space. How do I mean? Again, go back and look into your friendship circles. You'll find the one with the 2 master's degrees. You'll find the one with the PhD. You only have a bachelor's degree, or maybe even a diploma. You'll find the one with 5 houses to their names. You'll find the one who even struggles to pay rent. You'll find the one still living at home with their parents. But in the space of friendship, that difference can never be felt. It's sort of the safest space you could ever be, assuming we are talking true friendship here. This has been my personal observation in my life. I don't know about you. Let me know if you agree or disagree, but this is one thing I have found. I have found that we oscillate at the exact same wavelength regardless of economic or social status in our genuine friendships. Like, it just flows. And how amazing is that? I think that everyone deserves to have a place in which they feel safe, because life has so many ups and downs. Life will continually try to push you down. Life will do things to you that will make you question your worth. But in my tenure on this earth, I have realized the one place I find safety and find myself again is in my friendships. The final one, I have realized friendship is at the root of every successful relationship. Whether it's a mother-daughter relationship, a mother-son relationship, and I mean even when they're little, as well as when we are grown up, you can only properly relate with someone when you're truly friends. Yes, even in non-platonic relationships. You see, human beings, we are inherently selfish people. That is just our nature. After the fall, that is the nature of friendship, of human beings. So what checks your selfish urges? Because I'm not saying that we are continually acting selfish, but it's the most natural reaction when you're faced with a situation. But what checks that in us? It is friendship that checks that selfishness in us, and it allows us to relate with people with consideration. And that is why you find that when you friend with somebody, you relate better. It doesn't matter if somebody is your sibling, if there's no friendship there. All there will be is an association that was imposed upon you by nature. But insert friendship in those relationships, and you see how the relationship flourishes. Feed your friendships. Somebody once said that a parent cannot be a friend to their child. I want to disagree. Because you see, especially the child of today, they are very strong-minded and opinionated. My 4-year-old child, when you ask them to do something, they will ask you why. They genuinely want to understand why you want them to do that. When you're friends with your child, it's easier to influence them into doing something rather than finding yourself at crossroads. You're intentional about building a friendship with him, so that he realizes that despite mom's shortcomings, she is my friend. And friends stick with each other. Let me know what you think. You can add a few of your own personal thoughts on friendships along the way. Again, these are my own opinions, nothing researched, nothing what. It's just been my observations over time. I'll see you in the next one. That is